Welcome to Goober Time with Dr. Chris Chismore, hosted by Tom and Griffin.
We are your hosts, Tom and Griffin.
Unfortunately, our illustrious friend, Dr. Chris Chismore, is away on his important research and unable to host a podcast this week.
But fear not, dear listener, because he has left us in charge, and we are going to try to do a really good job of a podcast.
This week, Dr. Chismore has asked us to talk about...
Do you want to talk about where
what
Chris
has
is?
Chris been doing?
Yes. What has Chris been doing?
I think it's finally time.
Okay.
It's time we finally address what Chris has been doing for the past several weeks on the pod.
Do you have an idea of what
he's been doing?
Yes. Do you have an idea of what he's been doing?
Yes, he's been texting me on the side and emailing me clues of what he's been doing.
Okay. And what have you been able to...
One email was just the word sand.
Okay.
Another one was not enough water.
Okay.
And then he texted me a close-up of a camel's hump.
So it's safe to assume Chris is doing something in the desert.
He is terraforming the Sahara Desert.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
From those three pieces of input.
Okay.
Elon Musk is worried about terraforming on Mars. Chris Chismore says, but what if we could be terraforming right here on Earth?
Yes, I agree. Well, it's a brilliant idea because why go to another? We have our own alien planet here on Earth, and that alien planet is the desert.
Specifically the Sahara Desert.
Yes, yeah.
And were we to go on towards the stars, and I predict we shall, practice makes perfect. If we practice on the Sahara Desert, if we can get that right, if we can get that looking like Bloomington, Indiana, then we're going to be doing a good job on Mars.
Yeah, well, they are actually doing that. That's the type of thing that they do in Hawaii, right?
Do they?
There is a specific volcano that they test, that they do terraforming stuff on.
Is this real?
This is real.
That's
this is
really
like,
cool.
yeah, I heard on another podcast they send astronauts to do missions and stuff on the surface of Earth.
Wow.
On the surface of Hawaii.
And because you know why? Because NASA agrees with me that practice makes perfect.
Exactly. So Chris,
and he's probably involved in that work too, I would assume.
Yes, this is probably some version of that. But he's doing it by himself?
By himself. I haven't gotten any other texts or clues or WhatsApps. But maybe I haven't seen any other people in there. I would assume he's got probably a lady friend along for the ride.
Okay.
The raconteur that he is. But so far it seems like it's a self-funded solo endeavor to terraform what seems to be the damn-ass center of the Sahara Desert.
So this week, Chris cannot host the podcast because he is terraforming the Sahara Desert. So Griffin and I are once again hosting Goober Time with Chris Chismore, hosted by Tom and Griffin.
That's right.
And this week, Chris wants us to talk about, he didn't text me any of that, but he did text me this week's topic.
Oh.
And he wants us to talk about what we can learn from animals and maybe how to optimize our senses. Because we as human beings, we have a heavy brain. We have the heaviest, biggest, most intelligent brain.
Heavy lies the brain on the, what's the phrase?
Heavy weighs the crown.
Right, and the crown is the brain in our heads.
The brain is the crown.
We're the kings of
your organs.
The brain is the crown of your organs. We're the kings of the animal kingdom.
Yes.
And heavy it lies upon us.
And heavy it lies upon us. So that's the perfect merging.
And like any good king, you should be leading with the consent of the ruled. You need to be taking in input from your subjects, which are the other animals here on Earth. We're considering the lesson of the ape, considering the genius of the pufferfish.
Yes.
Because if we are to rule the pufferfish, we must listen to the pufferfish. We don't want to be despots. Did I land that?
Yes, that is a really important thought right there, because I see exactly what you're doing. A good king, we as humans are kings of the animal kingdom, and as a good king does, he listens to all of his subjects, he learns from them.
Yes.
We are going to do the same with animals today.
Or one day he will be overthrown.
Yes. Which animal do you think is the likeliest to overthrow us?
Well, as we've seen from Hollywood, the ape.
Yes. 100%.
Making it the planet of their own planet.
And we see what happens when Earth becomes a planet of the apes.
But I'm going to say, if it's outside of the primate world, because I'm going to say, ape, that's a pretty obvious, that's a first thought, best thought kind of thing. What else would be close? Damn, I would love to say dolphin, but they're pretty limited with the, the ocean's most of the planet. So maybe not. Dolphins could maybe inherit, if they could sort of control the water in the way that humanity has controlled the surface. I think dolphins have a really good good shot at controlling
dolphins
the planet.
could only control the water in which the same way humans control the surface.
Exactly.
We'd all be in trouble.
Yeah.
I was going to say beetles. I don't think it's necessarily an intelligence question. I can't see beetles evolving a brain as big as human beings, but there are more types of beetle on Earth and more types of, like, pretty much bug. Like, beetle is bug.
Right.
Pretty much. More kinds of bugs. They reproduce super fast. They take over. They're just sheer numbers. Stupid, but sheer numbers.
Sure. They could just whatever. In a war of attrition, the beetle will win. There are millions more beetles than humans.
Yeah, and they're gross. They're going to gross us out.
Right.
People aren't going to fight. They're not going to want to fight beetles. They're going to try and stomp on them, but then they could easily take over.
Okay.
So that was going to be my guess as to most
I'd say
likely animal to dethrone humans.
I think that's two solid takes. I think yours is wrong, but I think it's still solid.
Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree, which is what men do, especially men on podcasts.
Yes.
We can disagree, but we can move forward and talk about more subjects which we can disagree upon.
I would say we could disagree and we could move forward by just talking past each other long enough that the subject slowly changes to something else we likely disagree about or know very low information about, and can then begin agreeing about that subject.
Yes. Okay. So moving forward, I think, as men, as humans, it's our responsibility. There is something to be learned from every animal.
Yes.
We must always be learning lessons and applying those lessons.
Okay.
I think one of the most important lessons we can learn from animals is whether they are tasty or not.
Right.
Animals do a great job of teaching us whether they will taste good or bad.
And whether or not they're safe to eat.
Yes. Some of them do that through coloring, saying, I'm not good to eat.
Because I'm kind of gross.
Because I'm poisonous.
I'm poisonous. Oh, well, that's okay. Yeah.
And
that's
some
poisonous.
animals say, I'm really good, and you just got to try me.
And you're saying from the outside you could tell this.
I think from the outside you can understand which animals are not safe to eat, but some animals just look like they're going to taste good.
Like early man seeing early cow, and he's like, that probably could be good.
Yeah, that's going to be really tasty.
I should try that out.
Yeah.
What is the first meat that man ate?
I am going to
Don't say
guess
dead ass.
bug.
Bug is the first meat?
Yes, I think
You're
bug.
obsessed with bugs.
I think
what is going on with you?
Human beings.
Bugs?
Yes, I think human beings ate bug.
First shits a guy ate when what do we call it? Whatever the humans, the first scientifically recognizable human came online, lights up. I'm hungry. It's bug.
Yes, I think it's bug. I think bug is easy snack.
That sucks.
What do you think it was?
I think you're probably right, or like. Damn, this is a good ass question. I wish I knew the answer to. I want to say like a fish, but like fish seems pretty hard to get. That's probably a few steps to like building the tools to get a fish.
Yeah, you wake up, you're a human, an early human. You don't know, you're like the first guy.
Right.
So you don't know what is
gal.
good and bad to eat. So you're thinking, okay, what can I put in my mouth? If it's not a plant, it's going to be an ant, and you say, ooh, that bugs look really tasty.
I think it's plants.
Yes, but it's obviously plants. But you asked what was the first meat. Obviously, people ate plants before they ate animals. But you asked what's the tastiest meat, and I think it's bug.
Yeah, but what about nut meat?
Nut is not an animal. Nut is a plant.
Yeah, but they call it meat.
And you would have died if you would have eaten nuts. You can't even eat nuts.
Okay.
Griffin is allergic to tree nuts.
Don't tell. I don't want people knowing about my weaknesses.
Okay. I think bugs, to me, look incredibly tasty. You see a bright green bug, and you don't think that looks good?
You're thinking like a classic caterpillar.
I'm thinking a caterpillar. They look big, they look colorful, they look juicy.
I'll agree with you based on the bugs in the original Lion King. Those bugs looked good. That Timon and Pumbaa are snacking down on, those look like jelly treats.
Oh, yeah.
But real bugs in real life, I can't name a one that looked like it was going to be good. Even when I'm reaching back to my child brain and my childhood memories, never once was like, I could put that grasshopper in my mouth. I know that children did do that. I know a couple kids who ate slugs.
Yeah, which can kill you.
Really?
Yeah, there's one kid in the UK who, he was like a 15-year-old and he did it on a dare, and the slug had some sort of like prion or amoeba or something in it, and it turned him into a vegetable. So they were like, don't eat slugs, even as a joke.
Wow.
And that's a lesson that we can learn from the slug.
Wow.
Don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
Don't eat animals. Don't eat weird animals, even as a joke.
Outside of bug, which I'm going to say is still pushing it for the definition of meat. Mm-hmm. What do you think the first meat was?
Yes, you still have not answered the question.
I can't, because I'm cow. Whatever early cow is the first, whatever that would be.
Yeah. There is when I tried to read through Guns, Germs, and Steel, they said what the first cow. They said what the first cow was. That it's cows are based on some animal. Like the domestic cow is based off some crazy animal, and I forget what the animal name is. Huh. Some prehistoric animal.
I can see you're itching for it.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
With a Google.
Okay, I'm Googling what are cows based off of.
And for the viewer at home, you can go ahead and Google along with Tom in real time.
Oh, aurochs.
You probably knew that.
Archaeozoological and genetic data indicate that cattle were first domesticated from wild aurochs, that's A-U-R-O-C-H, approximately 10,500 years ago.
That sounds so much cooler than the cow.
All right.
What did it look like? Hit me with a pin.
Okay. And this is going to come to no surprise to you or me, Griffin. They look like a cow.
That looks like a big old cow.
Yeah, auroch, if you want to Google it at home, it looks like kind of a wild cow.
We're not like Joe Rogan. We don't have a Jamie, but we can kind of just hold the laptop up.
Yeah. I'm hoping there's no information on there that can dox me.
Well, we can probably hide that.
Other than the amount of emails I have in my inbox.
Okay. Wow.
So
probably early cow was first meat.
Yeah. Which if I was a caveman and I saw that thing, I would say yum yum. That looks tasty, especially seeing it's like it's gobbler, like that fucking. Mm-hmm. I'd say I want that meat first, and then all my other cave buddies would be like, "Yeah, you can have it," and then I'd say, "Well, this shit sucks. Give me the beef tenderloin." I'm
trying to think like, if I didn't already know, it's almost impossible to divest yourself of your knowledge of what it is, what these animals are when they're prepared, especially in a modern sort of restaurant context. But if you could, for a moment, imagine and forget that you know what a beef tenderloin looks like, would you still think the cow looks like the most appetizing? I'm trying to think, like, if I'm just walking around, I've never had meat before, the concept doesn't exist on Earth. Like, I don't know if I'd really think that any of them would be. I guess just, something that just looks like it has a lot of it. Maybe. Do you think just instinctually... we know instinctually we're like we want to have meat. We know, like, if you were starving and and meat didn't exist, you don't know what you know about meat.
Yes.
And you were really hungry, instincts would kick in and you would go to cow.
Yes, I think instinctually every animal knows what it wants to eat.
Yeah.
That's a lesson to be learned from nature.
I like that.
Is that you are born, you may not necessarily know who you are or why you're here, but you know, I'm hungry and that looks good to eat.
That looks good. Yeah. It's just so strange because I've only ever had food that other people have already deemed good to eat.
Yes.
Fed to me in my entire... I've never once blazed any trails in this department. I've never once gone off and sort of improvised and seen what I might like to eat. that I haven't been told I should eat. And that, I would say, is a personal failing of mine.
Yes, I would say that nowadays it's pretty hard for you as Griffin Winsler to discover a new type of food that no one has tried. Unless, the last guy to do that, I think, was Andrew Zimmer. He's the guy who did Bizarre Foods, and he would still, they were telling him, you should eat this.
Yeah, damn. Well, maybe someday I'll find it.
So, essentially, to the question you asked, you still have a non-answer.
No, my answer was the first cow.
Okay, first cow. Okay.
I've said cow. I can't think of anything else that seems like I would eat. Dog, maybe, or the dog rat. That seems like hard to eat. I don't know. What else could it ever be besides cow, pig, something dumb and slow?
Dogs. Some dogs look pretty good. I'll say it on the pod. I think some dogs,
but not eat.
You okay? So you as first caveman, you're gonna make a dog your wife. You're gonna fuck the dog.
Marry, fuck, kill.
Marry, fuck, kill.
Marry the dog.
Marry the dog.
Wait, marry the dog. Fuck the dog.
Fuck the dog.
And eat a cow.
And eat a cow. Okay,
kill the cow.
Okay. Kill the auroch. Okay.
Well, I mean, if it's not the cow, I'm trying to think what else is even available early days.
I think you got bugfish cow. Mammoth.
Cow. Mammoth, of course. Famously, they're hunting the mammoth.
Yes, but to me, and you got sloth, big sloth.
Oh,
I think I would have killed a big sloth.
Well, there's like scary sloths, like we're talking like 6 foot tall.
Yeah, they're bigger than 6 foot tall. I think I would have gone for sloth.
That seems like they would kill you.
They could, but I think
party.
that they were hunted to extinction because they were so bad at not being killed.
Wow, God, I'm just. There's something exhilarating to thinking about getting a group of guys together and saying like, I've got a wild idea.
Yeah.
You know that big slow thing that looks kind of like us. We can go gang up on it, and I think if we kill it, this might be good. And you're right. You convince you and the boys to go slaughter this thing on a whim. No one's done it before.
Yeah.
And then you eat it, and everybody's like, "This fucking rocks."
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's I would say probably whoever did that. That was the first. They would have been the first billionaire if money had existed. If U.S. dollars had existed.
The feeling that a billionaire has today.
Yes.
I was going to ask what you think the modern day equivalent of that is, and your answer is just being a billionaire.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, because you look up to billionaires.
Well, I think we all can't help but look up to them. They soar above us. They control the world in ways that we'll never understand and never deserve to understand.
Yes, that's a wonderful point. That is another great, really important thought. So apart from animals teaching us whether they're tasty or not, do you have any lessons that you think we can learn from animals in general or an animal?
Yes, but I have to look at my computer.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I wrote out a couple of thoughts. Owl. The owl. I think there's probably a lot of lessons to come from the owl. I don't know why that's my first. Probably because that's my first thought. Probably because when you're a kid, you're reading books. The owls are always so wise.
Yes.
I'm thinking, where am I going to find a lesson in the world of animals? And it's with the wise owl. First, I think pretty obvious lesson. Owls are going like this all the time. They can go all the way around. That's head on a swivel. Mm-hmm. They're aware of their environment. I don't know if they're the apex predator, but they're pretty high up at nighttime.
Yes. Yeah.
They're pretty high up at nighttime.
Yes, I think it's safe to say that owls are pretty high up there at nighttime. Once the sun goes down,
something happens.
It's not bad to be an owl.
They're in the right place at the right time with the right set of tools. Mm-hmm. When the sun comes back up, I don't know what their issue is. I guess probably they're exhausted, but I'd say they plummet, not to the bottom, but they're probably mid-level. I think the red-tailed hawk is probably king of the daytime.
Okay.
In a similar environment.
And you think the best lesson, that you're saying, yes.
That's one of the lessons.
Okay.
Head on a swivel, keeps you at the top, keeps you aware of your environment. Monkey, I swear to God.
Griffin's cat monkey is screwing with a plant.
He's killed one. He's gonna kill again, and there's probably a lesson in that. But I can't be interrupted by this right now. The other lesson: silent killer. They're flying. Nobody know. You don't hear the owl when it's coming at you.
Yes.
Stay silent. Stay secret. Stay stealthy.
Don't let anyone know what you're up to.
What you're doing, yeah. Don't be so. Which I think in today's modern age is don't be projecting what your next move is on social media.
Very true.
I think there's probably some utility in social media, but I don't think you should be telling everybody your business plans, your personal finance, your plan of attack, where you're going to be.
You don't want to say I'm going on vacation because then people will say, oh, this is a great time to rob you.
This is a great time to rob you. This is a great time to hit your inbox with a bunch of, stuff about how you've been fired from work or something.
This is a great time to go to your mailbox and steal all the mailbox money that you have in there.
Exactly.
Yes, I think that moving in silence. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Nothing. I had one more thing.
So, well, go ahead and say it.
Well, owls like to say hoot hoot, and I think if you just try that out, it's a nice moment of levity.
Okay, so you're saying, you think a lesson to be learned from an owl is just to say hoot hoot.
How do you feel having just said it?
It feels good. I think it feels good.
So it doesn't all have to be, a race to the top. I think the hoot hoot of the owl reminds us it's okay to have a little bit of fun.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
That's a fun sound. My dad is really good at doing that barn owl hoot.
Yes.
And that's just kind of a fun thing
to
be able to do. He can do it so good that it sounds like it is an owl if you're in the woods.
Why would you need? Why does your dad? What's the advantage of being able to make an owl sound while you're in the woods?
If you're ever in the woods with your dad at night, and you should ask him if he can make a good owl sound.
Okay, why?
Because if he can, that means he's wise of the ways of the woods. He's spent time connecting to the earth and the natural rhythms and the natural sounds, and he's probably more likely to be able to adapt to a survival situation.
When I was at summer camp, they said that you could tell the barred owl, B-A-R-R-E-D.
Is it barred, not barn?
Yeah, barred owl, because of the like, they said you can know a barred owl because it asks, who cooks for you?
Wow.
And that's how you know a barred owl's call. You go, hoo, 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 hoo.
Yeah.
You can hear who cooks for you in that.
Who cooks for you? That's the one my dad can do really well. And I'll tell you, it's helpful also in practical terms in my real life because when you're deer hunting, it's best not to make human sounds. It's better to make animal sounds. So like if dad's come pick you up in the woods or something, or dropping you off, I don't know, letting you know where somebody is, you can make a little hooting sound, and it sounds more like an owl than a human. But I guess if he does it too good, you can't tell what it is. You think it's just an owl near you.
I see. Yeah, that's an interesting point, and also a really important thought right there, because when I was researching for this episode, and by researching I mean Googling most amazing animal facts online, one of the animal facts I found said that a lot of animals, especially in the Sahara, are more afraid of humans than they are lions. And so humans are essentially seen by every animal as a super predator, which is interesting to think about. Because that is that gets to the aspect you're getting about the deer, is every animal knows the sound of a human.
They know that something's wrong.
Yes, so it's important as a human to not sound like a human if you're trying to kill those animals. Don't
let them know you're coming. Again, it's back to the lesson of the owl.
A lesson of the owl. I had a lesson here that I learned while researching, and it's from bugs. Specifically from ants and bees.
Okay.
And that is that it's okay to be a simp.
Okay.
If you're an ant or a bee, your entire purpose...
Show him off to the pod just because he's here. He doesn't like this.
Your entire purpose is to serve the queen.
Yes.
So it's
You're
okay.
Obsessed with it.
You're obsessed. They're obsessed with the queen. And so it's okay to be a simp sometimes.
For the greater good.
For the greater good. It's okay if you and your boys want to simp hard for a woman as long as she's really big.
Putting out hella babies.
and is essential to the survival of
right. Your
family.
Species, your family.
Yeah. It's okay to love your mom.
Okay, yeah, there we go. I was trying to think of some real world application. It's okay when you and your brothers all love your mom so much. Is what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
essentially that. I
Okay.
think that's what I had written down, and I think by it's okay to be a simp, what I really meant was it's okay if you and your brothers really love your mommy. I think that's what I really meant.
Yeah, okay. Good for the family.
Okay, so here's a good edit point.
Oh, okay.
I think this might be a good edit point.
Why?
Well, because I think we kind of fell.
Do you?
I think we were going on something good and we had a moment of quietness. So I was going to say.
I think that's okay.
Okay.
I think it's. I was just. I think we could have a few moments of quiet thought. You know, like
Yes.
it's okay to reflect with what we've just
Yes.
heard and said.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking about like what the practical, real world implications of what you had just proposed were.
Yes, and I think that it was. Yeah.
I think it's okay.
I said on saying it, I realized it was more of a joke than it was an actual
think we
lesson
should-
to be learned.
I think we should keep all of this in.
Okay,
I think that's
perfect.
fine.
Do you have anything that you already covered the owl?
Yeah, I actually have a couple. This one maybe applies to the current moment. Who knows when this episode's coming out? We've been recording for since the somewhere around the October 7th attacks in Israel. I think was around our first episode, and it's still not come out yet. So who knows when this is coming out?
Griffin and I like to orient our calendar on the Israel-Palestine conflict
Right.
in the Middle East.
And yeah, exactly.
Yes,
That's how we timestamp.
We the events of October 7th happened, and we said we should start a podcast.
We should start a podcast. I do think that we have used that as a timestamp at some other point in recording an episode. I don't know which episode, but I swear to God that I probably have said that, brought that up. But anyways, maybe something, a lesson for the present moment is from The Lion.
Yes.
The Lion, what do you know of as The Lion? What's the catchphrase when you think of The Lion? What's the...
King of the jungle.
Exactly. Where do lions live?
Lions live on the Sahara and on
plains
the savannah.
And the savannah. They don't live in the jungle at all.
So-
There's not a jungle cat at all. That is, but there is known far and wide as the king of the jungle. That's successful reputation building, brand building, great propaganda. They're thought of as king of the jungle over the leopard and the tiger. Mm-hmm. Both kings of the true, probably king. I don't know which one. Maybe they're co-king. Both big cat, king of the jungle cats.
Yes. So you're saying marketing.
Oh yeah, I'm saying marketing. I'm saying propaganda. I'm saying branding. I'm saying they got it's the whole package. They got. I think Disney did a lot to help the Lion with the King series, the Lion King series. Tiger in Disney. Oh, now I'm just kind of off on a Disney thing. I think Tiger is usually bad guy, not king of the jungle. So I'm saying that they got a lot of help from some corporate sponsorship there.
Yes. So you're saying lions as king of the jungle. The lesson to be learned.
The lesson to be learned is you can be, if the lion can be the king of the jungle and never having set foot in the jungle, just imagine what you can do.
Okay.
If you have great branding, great marketing, a little bit of maybe a touch of propaganda in there.
Yes. That is a good lesson.
Oh yeah.
You don't.
I could be the king of Utah, Alabama in about a week and a half if you give me about $5,000 in targeted Instagram ads. And that's probably not a place you've ever heard of.
No, Utah, Alabama. Where?
Yeah. Where is it in Alabama? Somewhere in the middle of nowhere. EUTAW.
So it's spelled. Wait, EA.
EUTAW,
EU.
I believe.
TAW. Okay, Utah.
But with a moderate budget and using the tools available to anybody on social media, I think I could really project an image of dominance over a small geographic area.
Yeah,
within a
that
week.
is. Yeah, you bring up a good point in that it is amazing what you can accomplish with targeted Instagram ads.
Oh yeah, and just you use online confusion, anonymous posts, disinformation, and you can control almost any piece of land you'd like.
Okay, that's an interesting lesson to learn from the lion.
Oh, yes.
In a similar vein, I also have an internet lesson from the lion.
Okay.
And that's one of the most famous memes I think I've seen a lot during college football season. I've seen it a lot on various subreddits, and that is, a lion does not concern himself with the opinion of sheep.
Okay. Wow.
So that's saying that, that's a lesson of confidence.
Right.
And that, we as kings, you listeners as kings.
And that is the constant lesson here on Goober Time with Chris Chismore.
Hosted by Tom and Griffin.
Hosted by Tom and Griffin. You are all kings.
Every single person listening to this is a king. And as kings, we should not be concerned with the opinion of the peons, the haters.
The peons, the haters, the food, their food.
Their food. We shouldn't be concerned with what they're eating, what they're doing, what they think of us.
No. I think that's really good.
As a lion, too, a lion shouldn't even know what a sheep is.
Really, they're not in the same environment at all that I can think of.
No,
Which, again, I think maybe this is a further fallout from the lion's successful marketing, branding, and propaganda campaign. Famously, the sheep is being hunted by the wolf, but in this scenario, we're seeing we're seeing the lion compared to the sheep.
Yes,
I find that interesting.
And maybe it originally was a wolf does not concern himself with the opinion of sheep.
You're saying maybe you messed up.
Maybe I might have messed up.
I think it sounds good. It sounds better the way you have it.
But I truly do think I've seen a lion does not.
I think that's probably it. I believe that.
Let us know if you have also seen that.
Let us know if you've ever seen a lion with a sheep. I'd like to know about that. And again, where you do that, where you let us know these kinds of things, is in the comments of Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
YouTube reviews.
And
Don't send us any.
I was going to say, we will only read it or listen to it if it is a 5-star review.
Yes, review in the reviews, not the comments. The reviews of Apple Podcasts. 5-star review, and tell us the answer to whatever we're asking. Sorry, I'm watching the cat, making sure he's not being bad. Sorry, there was something else with the lion not concerning themselves with the sheep. Oh, did you ever have growing up? I think this is a lesson I was taught as a kid. Was like, I'd want to, I don't know, go do. We would do we didn't have video games for a long time, or a computer, and we'd whine and complain. We want to have a video game. We want a computer. Everybody else has those things, and my parents would say, "Well, we're not like other people. We're better than other people. We're going to be better than most people. We're special." And
That's interesting.
I think that is pedal to the metal, foot to the ground. The lion does not concern themselves with the matters of the sheep.
Yes, that's very true. And it is excellent parenting to tell your kid that we as a family are better, than everybody else.
It's the 5 of us against the world. Mm-hmm. At the time, probably it was the three of us. I don't know if my brother and sister were born yet.
So this was before you, okay.
Really? Now, if that's true, then it was really, it's me and my mom and dad against everybody, including my brother and sister, because they hadn't been born by the time I was hearing this, which is interesting to consider and think about and ponder.
Well, this makes sense how you've become the man that you are.
Right. Troubled, delusional, nearly psychopathic. Your parents never said anything like that to you?
No, my parents never told me we are better than other people.
Everyone else.
Everyone else. No. They never said that.
I guess
I think they said the opposite.
Now that I'm hearing myself report this back to you, it sounds unique. I thought it was sort of everybody's parents said stuff like that.
No, I don't think maybe some of the viewers, listeners had parents who instilled a lot of confidence in them or said something like that. My parents never said anything like that.
I will say it did not instill a shred of confidence in me. I think it was meant to. Mm-hmm. It maybe had the opposite effect.
Of making you think that...
Just being confident. I think it made me, well, I don't know, confused. It probably had a positive effect of, the lesson in there that, like, there's the masses and then there are us, and we want to be above the masses of people.
Yes.
I think is probably a good lesson. That's probably what my parents meant. I think, however I just said it to you, might have been a misunderstanding of my own or just a psychotic.
That's okay. I mean, it is very funny to tell your kid we are better than everybody else.
That is, I think, we could, I think we could ask them, but I'm pretty sure that's what they would say.
Or what they say in that in Men in Black, the first Men in Black. He said,
we're wearing suits and isn't
Tommy
that
Lee
nice?
Jones.
Oh.
Tommy Lee Jones says, a person is smart. People are stupid, crazed animals, and goes on how
I like that.
herd mentality.
I like that.
Yes.
That's true. I feel like that's true. This isn't maybe there's some lesson from an animal in here somewhere, but I do think, in large groups, people are animals.
Yes, and I think my parents, in essence, may have told me the opposite in that they said, we are sheep.
Really?
Quite
Christian of them.
Yeah, it was very Christian of them. Yeah, and I think that was hit home when I would go to church and they'd say, yes, we are sheep and Christ is the shepherd. And I said, oh, okay.
Wow. That probably was in there, should have been in there, since I was also raised in some flavor of Christianity, but I think it was more, don't bother yourself with these people. They don't. You let them be as dumb as they're going to be, and let them fuck their lives up with video games.
In this house, we read books. We discuss literature.
Yes.
We talk about the economy.
Sure.
We don't play video games.
We don't play video games. Exactly. And I say that sitting to you here now, a 37-year-old man who's addicted to Escape from Tarkov, a Russian video game.
With maybe one layer of or one shelf of books. Mm-hmm. Oh, just one shelf of books.
That's just a sort of a hand-me-down shelf. I need a bookshelf. I have more books. There are books around the house, but also a lot of my books are in storage at my dad's house. My favorite, like the books I'm like, I want to have this forever. This is like worth, passing on or checking back in on.
I keep
books from college.
Yes. I keep all of my favorite books at my dad's house too.
It's books that I'm like, this is going to be valuable to have to me someday when I'm old and I want to reread things. I want to reread, on utilitarianism or, Alexis de Tocqueville's on democracy. I can't even think of what it's called. Democracy in America. I was like, this is really great, incredible book about America. Great. Yeah, written, over 100 years ago or something. Still beautiful and accurate. And I imagine that someday I'll have an armchair that's within, that book will be within an arm's length, and I'll want to crack it open from time to time as I'm preparing for bed in my manner.
If I ever have a son, I am going to teach him that good books belong in my house.
They belong in my house.
They say, this son, good books belong in your father's house.
And son, here you are on your 18th birthday, and you're going to head out into the world. And I want you to remember one thing. Good books belong in my house. If you find any good books out there, you send them right back to me.
Which, maybe not a bad thing. You get, as a father, you're getting
nice.
a lot of good books.
Getting a lot of good books. And a lot of mail. Huh?
And a lot of mail, yes.
Which is fun to get a package.
Yes.
Well, what did you say?
I was going to say, and books teach us lessons.
Right.
Much like the animals.
What other animals are you considering?
I have also considered, I think we should cover the domestic animals, namely the dog and the cat.
Yeah.
Since we are on both sides of that coin.
I'm really, okay.
I have the dog.
Yes.
I have a dog.
No,
I learned a lot of lessons from him. I think I learned the lesson that things which some people or other animals see as trash or gross, i.e. poop, pee, dirt, buttholes, my dog sees as valuable.
There's information in there.
There's information in there.
They're getting a lot of information from each other's buttholes, I found out.
Yes. So if, I have learned the lesson that if there's more than meets the eye for my dog, if he's smelling it, I'm smelling it. And I'm trying to pick up, my nose isn't quite as good as his.
I was going to say that's sort of the limit.
But I'm trying to pick up what he's getting at. I'm trying to say, what information, what's this thing eating? What is left here? What can I learn about my community from the ground,
the scent,
the soil
around it?
Yes.
Have you learned much?
I have learned that, people do meth.
Right.
There's a lot of meth in my neighborhood.
You can smell the meth.
I think yes.
Really? I wouldn't know it if it walked in the door.
No, honestly, I don't know if I could smell. I don't know if I could smell meth
smell, right?
Yes. I think anyone who's smoked meth would probably know the smell.
Well, and I hope that would be true.
But they're
on account of them smoking the meth.
Yes. I guess my point is that my dog picks up on a lot of things and is interested in things that seem mundane to me.
Yeah.
Another great lesson from the dog is to be enthusiastic about life and the little things.
I think that is a very valuable lesson and that's like that feels like the main lesson from having a dog.
Yes, I think that when I wake up, I say, oh great, I'm alive again. And it's another day, another dollar. And my dog wakes up and he says, oh great, I'm alive again. He runs around.
He says, holy shit, it's happening again!
Yeah, I said, oh, I woke up. Oh, fuck
yeah.
Yeah, and he runs around in a circle. He rolls on the ground. He shows his belly. He gets excited. Sometimes he'll bark a little bit,
and
even though it's 6:30 in the morning.
Has some of that rubbed off on you?
I think
some of that joy.
I think yes. I think I have become more joyful because I've seen my dog's appreciation for life. And he'll get psyched about little things. And I'll say, yeah, it is worth getting excited.
I think that's true. It's a little reminder of, I'm laughing at thinking of, the dog's going crazy for something he saw on a walk. Now I'm laughing at that because it's funny to see the animal getting joy out of that.
Yes.
And now I'm getting joy out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. He sees our neighbor and he gets excited. And I am like, well, I see the neighbor every day, but then I put my mind in the mindset of my dog and I say, my neighbor is a miracle.
It's incredible.
It's incredible every time I see my neighbor.
It's incredible that guy hasn't died yet.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah. He is a god in and of himself.
Yes.
And I should be excited to see him.
Very good sort of Church of Satanism lesson. That's very humanist. Yes. It's a very humanist, like lesson.
Yes, and similar to what we touched on at the beginning of the pod, this is the king of the animals in front of me. I am a king of the animals. My neighbor is also the king of the animals.
That's right.
And I should respect him or her
as such.
Or they as such.
Yes.
Whoever they are.
I think that's a really good lesson from the dog. I think that's as actually profound as we're going to get.
Yeah. I think we went into this, thinking we would maybe have some laughs,
some insights,
maybe doing this a little tongue in cheek, and I think we have discovered a bit of a real lesson.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to think about the cat. Do you have anything else from the dog?
I think I've covered enough on the dog. I want to hear what you have to say about the cat.
Feel free to loop back around on the dog. The cat, I'm sort of improvising this off the cuff here. I don't really know. I hadn't thought about it. I'm coming in pretty frustrated at the cat. The cat is shitting everywhere. His shit smells like... It smells... The cat... I hate the cat. But then I love the cat.
Yes.
But then I feel like I feel now where he shits and it smells like an old man shit in his diaper and then took the diaper out and dropped it on my floor.
Yeah, it smells awful.
And it's not like little kid shit. It is old man smelling shit. Mm-hmm. And I've tried so many litter boxes and types of litter, and no matter what, it just sucks. But then I'll look at him right there.
Yeah, he does look very cute. He's asleep on the
cute
top
little guy.
Shelf.
I wish I could show him to you, dear listener. And I don't know what the lesson is in there, but maybe it's, no matter how bad you are, how just stinky, shitty, childish. He's biting me randomly. He wants attention all the time. If somebody loves you, they'll continue to love you.
Yes.
Despite just how much you objectively suck. You fucking suck, asshole.
Yeah.
Shithead.
That's another actual beautiful lesson.
I don't know if you can see these. Covered in just scraps, bites. New bite, right? New puncture wound here. From today, from picking him up. Oh, I picked him up, and it turns out it secretly wasn't time to pick him up. Wish I had known.
We're not privy to all that happened before the podcast, before we started recording, but
It'd be weird if you were.
Griffin got very mad at the cat. The podcast, this very episode was almost ruined, and
We
I
almost
think
had to delete the episode. We almost had to walk away from it.
we almost did have to walk away from it because the cat took such a stinky and destructive shit in the bathroom. It almost ruined this episode of the podcast, but I think here we are. I think we have learned some very valuable lessons. The kitty named Monkey Brains is ever so cutely sleeping on the top shelf.
Let's see if we can get him.
Yeah. Switch it around. If you're listening, we are moving the camera around. Griffin is zooming in on Monkey. His little ear twitched. He is fast asleep. He doesn't know what is going on.
Come on. I know you've seen a cat before, dearest listener, but you haven't seen this one.
It is very cute.
A guy I found on the street in a bush.
But I think that is a very...
Great camera work, too.
Yes, excellent camera work. So the lesson of unconditional love.
I think so. I think it's unconditional love. Yeah. If anybody has any tips about, the litter situation, best. I need to know. I don't need to know general tips. I need to know the fucking. You tell me exactly the product. If you can, again, on Apple Podcasts in the reviews section, just leave a link to an Amazon product that you think is going to help me not have to smell an old man's dirty diarrhea shit every day. I will, and it's a 5-star review. I will thank you personally on the podcast.
What do you think makes old men's shit smell so bad?
Well, I do want to say I am supposing that it does, because I don't know from personal experience that it does.
No, I
want to get ahead of the allegations on this.
I remember from working in an office and being around,
Stinky
older
old
people. Men. Yeah, or old men do have
okay.
Stinky shits.
Really a disgusting topic you've decided to focus on, and I hate you for it. But I'm going to suppose
you brought it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to move past it. It's just the bald reality of this fucker doing what he does. But I'm going to guess that it's old men. They've been alive for so long. There's nothing new under the sun to them. So when it's time to eat, they're just gobbling up anything left and right, much like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're eating stinky food. They're eating the food they like as much as they can. They're horking down gravy and pork chops and I think just no regard for their own health and safety probably.
I think it's because they're going to those cafeterias.
They're going to Piccadilly's.
Yeah, Piccadilly's. We had one growing up called MCL. There's one called Gray Brothers Cafeteria.
Gray Brothers.
Gray Brothers. Yeah, it was in Indianapolis.
If there was one of those near here, I would love to go to there with you right now.
Really?
I would go to one today.
I always thought the food was disgusting.
It is. I would be so excited. My grandparents would pick me up, or my parents were on the way, I'd go visit them in Memphis, and we would almost 100% of the time stop at Piccadilly's when we got within the city confines of Memphis.
Yeah.
And go to Piccadilly's, and I was so excited because you can just load up as much Jell-O cubes as you want.
Yeah.
As much, what is it, chicken fried steak, okra, collard greens, macaroni. Oh my God. I wonder if it still exists, but it is. It's gross. It's cafeteria food. It's been sitting out all day. It is bad, but I want it right now.
Yeah, I remember as a kid.
That's nostalgia at work right there.
Yes,
wow.
That's very true. I mean, yeah, I think it's because I also haven't eaten a lunch yet, but it is I'm definitely in my mind back in line. The Jell-O cubes is what did it. I used to love
down at the end.
Yeah.
And they got there's the creamy, what is it? I'm thinking it's the pastel colored, like creamy stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's like with like fruit or something chopped
Yeah,
up in it.
yeah.
I don't know what that shit was. I never had that.
Yeah.
But that's what old men are eating.
Thank you, Griffin.
And thank you, Tom.
And thank you, listeners. I hope that you have grown today from all the lessons we've learned from the animal kingdom. I think we have. I think I'll state it again. Started this off a little tongue-in-cheek, but I think we have walked away with some valuable lessons. And
I hope we've had some really important thoughts, and you have as well.
Goober Time is produced by me, Griffin, and Lauren Talmadge. Executive produced by Tim McGower. Associate producer Ahmed Stork, and aspiring producer Little Jimmy Penn. Goober Time is engineered by Roger Goodrich and recorded at Detweiler Sound in Humboldt, Tupelo, Mississippi. Sound mixing by Reed Armband with music by Laser Monster, which is Griffin in the past. You can check it out at lasermonster.bandcamp.com. Tom's costume was provided by Padma Lakshmi with catering provided by Kokomo's Mungo Lounge. Kokomo's, if you can't take her here, you can't take her anywhere.